When we first started this podcast, there was one game I kept harping on and on and on and on and on about that needed to have a sequel. And I'm glad to say that my whinging has finally paid off.
Resident Evil 8 is here. Village, get excited. No?
No.
Okay.
The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem. G'day and welcome to the Gaming Lovers Podcast, episode 131. I'm Jem.
I'm Brendo, 131. Isn't that just a perfect number? Nice, easily divisible. No,
Is it
probably
a prime
not.
number?
It could be. I'm not going to research that. It's probably multiplied by 7 with something.
Okay.
We are the Gaming Lovers, and at long last, a sequel that was a long time coming. And as a result, a bank balance for Nintendo that was a long time coming. They could have cashed in on this many a year ago.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes.
New Pokemon Snap is here.
And it is receiving very rave reviews. It's making me very happy and justified after time and again bringing it up on this podcast that I wanted Pokemon Snap 2. It is not called Pokemon Snap 2. It is just the new Pokemon Snap.
Which means,
fine,
if there is a new sequel again to this game, 20-something years in the future, what do they then call it? New Pokemon Snap 2? Newer Pokemon Snap?
It's like they've gone with the naming scheme like Xbox rather than just following a linear thing. I don't know.
Just Nintendo.
But
they have put new in front of so many games.
I wonder if it's
ridiculous.
because of the developers, right? Because the original Pokemon Snap was made by a group of people that were not necessarily under Nintendo's umbrella. They just wanted to make a photography simulation game and got the rights to Pokemon and found that would be an engaging subject. And then they fell in love with Pokemon as they were creating the game. So I wonder now, maybe it's taken them many years to get the rights to own all of it under Nintendo's umbrella or the Pokemon umbrella or both. But yeah.
I don't know what took so long. It is finally here. It is well worth the price of admission.
Oh, so good.
And despite its stupid name, new Pokemon Snap is looking like Jem's Gold Smoochie.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It has been not just nostalgic, because nostalgia only gets you so far with these kind of things, but it has been relaxing to play. There's something just nice about being on that rail kind of track of just slowly rolling along, taking photos at your leisure, trying to get the perfect snap, and also then having a little bit of fun with the images later if you want to, slowly discovering and puzzling out all the different ways to get Pokemon to do different poses or to get them out of their hiding holes and finding different pathways. There's been so much more to unlock in this reiteration of Pokemon Snap. And I've just found it very satisfying.
It's been a good thing that throughout the past, say, 5 years, between Pokemon Go and then you and I watching Pokemon XY and Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then you got Pokemon Sword and Shield that was the more recent playing of a Pokemon game.
Yep.
Your Pokemon knowledge is quite sufficient to enjoy new Pokemon Snap to its fullest, because you know pretty much all the Pokemon.
Yes.
I wonder how much people enjoy it who only played the 64 era.
And only know the original 151?
Yeah. Would they enjoy it as much?
We had it tested out. Lady Nat, who played the original with me quite a bit, we had her over the other day and just gave her the controller without much warning and said, here, the new Pokemon Snap.
Literally, that's the name. The new Pokemon Snap.
Play it. And we gave her the beach level to start with because we felt that would have the most kind of nostalgia link to it, especially seeing Pikachu quite early on, help jog her memory. And she really got into it, I think more than she expected to. And, as soon as she saw Wurmple and a few of the other cute Pokemon, she was like, oh, it's so cute and so adorable. And it was just satisfying for me to watch her have such a good time with it and have me know that, you don't have to be an ultra Pokemon fan or even a Pokemon fan at all to still enjoy the game.
I think it would be a perfect game to introduce young nieces, nephews,
Absolutely.
children one day. A nice beginning game. There's very low stakes.
Yes.
You have fun snapping photos of cute things, although some of them are quite scary.
They
That
can be.
Tyrantrum is terrifying.
I think one of the new elements that they've introduced is the Illumina Pokemon. So you've got these flowers that glow, and eventually you get balls that you can piff at any Pokemon and give it that same glowy effect, which you can see in all the different trailers and stuff when they were promoting the game.
Piff.
But yes.
Piff.
Yes. Throw, piff. And they have kind of almost like boss levels, I guess, similar to when you finally unlock the level with Mew in the original. These big Illumina Pokemon, they're called, and they are usually some kind of rarer Pokemon, and they're all glowing. Sometimes you've got some puzzle things you have to do in order to get the perfect shot. And it starts off quite easy and it builds up in difficulty the more of those special kind of boss levels you unearth. And I remember with one of them, it's kind of eerie because you're in the depths of the ocean.
Ooh.
And that can be quite intimidating as it is. Like in real life, I think I would be pretty scared to be that deep down.
Well, I can't wait until next week where you play Subnautica Below Zero.
No. But that said, yes, it's great to chill to or to introduce young kids to. The controls are nice and easy. You can take time learning how to use them and not feel punished for stuffing up, I guess, because you can just rinse and repeat. And it has so much replayability. They've introduced leveling up systems. So even if you've done a level a couple of times, you want to go back because every time you level up, new things happen in that area.
Yes.
New Pokemon start appearing. They start doing different activities or fighting or engaging with each other.
Some of the areas get very crowded very quickly,
Yes.
and there are some squabbles over the fluff fruit to be had.
It's been a lot of fun. I think for me, I've really enjoyed, they start off with a lot of new Pokemon, but as you level up, they bring back some of the old favourites, and you have that, like, oh my goodness, it's Squirtle, kind of getting happy to see old favourites. I'm just so glad that something that I've longed for this many years has lived up to the hype, to my self-hype, that can be the worst.
Could you imagine waiting this long for a sequel and then it just goes...
Duke Nukem fans.
Oh, no.
Can
Oh, no. I'm having flashbacks to the year 2000 all over again.
So, I mean, there are those unfortunate cases, but thankfully Nintendo very rarely put out duds when it's one of their own products, when they're mainline things. And many Pokemon fans are like, well, look at all the original Pokemon animations in this game.
There are a lot. At least 4 for each Pokemon. That's guaranteed.
These aren't recycled from Sword and Shield.
No, not at all. And they are adorable.
Yes.
They are majestic. They have splendor. It is amazing. And the fact that sometimes you just don't know what's going to trigger what with a Pokemon. So you get quite surprised when you try to get one Pokemon to do something and then another Pokemon tries to attack it, hits the wall and drops another third Pokemon off the wall onto the ground. You're like, that's what I had to do to get that one. Okie dokie.
It's so satisfying, right? Figuring out those little things, the chain of events. Because sometimes you can be like trying everything with this one Pokemon and nothing's working. So it is gratifying. That, and I like the added feature of night tracks.
Yes.
Getting to see Pokemon fast asleep, or also getting to see nocturnal animals.
That's just
like
it. You've had levels already.
Yeah.
A lot of levels, especially compared to original Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Old Pokemon Snap, because this one's new Pokemon Snap. Maybe it's old Pokemon Snap. But you've not only got more levels. We've already said you got multiple. Now I've used the word levels. You've got multiple stages, but you've got multiple levels on those stages with your experience points unlocking more Pokemon to appear. And then you have day and night for pretty much all the maps as well. So you have as you said, so much replayability, so much variables to experience in a game that, like you said, you're on rails. You think it wouldn't be anything other than linear. But alas, you're overwhelmed. There's too much Pokemon antics to be had now.
Well, there are moments where you can choose to go the left or right down different pathways, and you'll see different Pokemon.
More variables.
And it's frustrating because sometimes I won't realise that I'm hitting that point, and you have to trigger it manually. You can't just hope you'll go down one way or the other. And sometimes I'm so distracted taking photos that I miss it. I'm like, no. But I think all these little things that they've done, that and requests from Professor Mirror, as well as Todd.
Oh, my goodness.
The original photographer in the original Pokemon Snap makes an appearance, and I may have been like, ah!
And if he aged appropriately, he should be like middle-aged by now, so he wouldn't be that exciting to see. He'd be bald.
Well, he has to be recognisable, I think.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I think in the world of Pokemon, no one ages at the same pace. I feel like they, a year is like 10 years.
Yeah.
Or possibly
Let's not forget
longer.
it took Ash Ketchum, a Pokemon trainer who's eternally 11, 22 years of experience in Pokemon training to win a tournament.
Yep.
So, how does that mathematics work?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It is a magical, magical land. Have there been any favourite photos for you? Ones that you, like younger Brendo, would have rushed to the kiosk to get printed?
Well, what is interesting about this is you have to, if you want to complete everything this game has to offer, you have to take at least 4 different grades of poses for each Pokemon. So after I've gone through the first time and just sort of snapped them in their native habitats, I usually piff apples at them and take a photo as they're recoiling from the impact. So I have some classic Wooper photos with that one, and it's just hilarious seeing that the big, tough, aggressive Pokemon just snarling at you, but even the cute little tiny ones try to look intimidating after you've just chucked an apple at their forehead.
I'm just trying to feed them. I do find it funny in the description that, it's fluff fruit, it's not apples, it's like apples.
Of course.
But it's much gentler and not actually going to hurt them, just annoy them a little bit. I found that funny because they got rid of the pestables, which didn't hurt them. They were just enough to irritate them out of any hiding spots, right? But that's kind of been replaced with the Illuminables, which can get their attention, also trigger new poses, or obviously lights up those glowy flowers, which also can trigger events too.
Yes, and as you said, we've got some amazing shots, some classic funny shots. We've got a Magikarp with its mouth shut. That's pretty rare.
It looks so weird.
And as you said, no pestables, no throwing heavy fruit at anybody. We're against Pokemon violence here, but hot diggity dog, I will eat a Vanillux any day of the week. Those ice creams look delicious.
I've had a couple of funny moments in recent runs. I think one of my favourite interactions is watching a little Welmer kind of yell at the Octillery, thank you. Because the Octillery is like, whoa! It's just a very funny moment to watch.
Octillery has a bad day in the ocean, doesn't
really
he?
does.
Because you got other shots of Octillery running for his life as well.
Yep.
With his 8 little legs.
But at one moment I found a little... I was like, what is going on here? And I was a bit worried for poor Magikarp. And this is in the depths of the ocean, I'm pretty sure. And he's in the arms of a frillfish or...
Frillish?
Frillish, thank
Yep.
you. And it looks as if they're either hugging or they've captured Magikarp and are taking Magikarp for a delicious meal.
Oh, no.
And I don't know what's correct.
Look, Pokemon have to eat other Pokemon, right?
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, some of them must be carnivorous.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with slicing a bit off a Slowpoke and having a munch. Well, Slowpoke tails are a delicacy, I hear. So, anyone else hungry? I am ravenous right now.
There's just something funny, like, I am a carnivore, like, I have no issue in real life with that, but there's something about Pokemon, I guess because they're a bit more sentient, You know, they're not just intelligent. They seem to have a sense of self compared to a lot of animals in real life.
Would you drink Squirtle water then? The water
I don't know,
that
is it filtered?
coming out of its mouth. It can't be good for you, right?
I don't know. If I was really, really thirsty, then probably.
Okay. Pretty sure there was an episode where Ash, Brock and Misty were in the desert and they didn't even think to drink Squirtle water. So it's either completely unhygienic or they were just idiots.
Well, dehydration.
It'll do
not
that
good,
to you.
Not good for the brain. We always have very weird discussions about things. When Pokemon comes into the discussion and we start doing hypotheticals, something weird always comes up.
Well, let's move on to a less awkward topic. What is the most attractive Pokemon?
What do you mean as attractive? As in cute? As in adorable? Like they're so, like,
we didn't.
photogenic?
It was a rhetorical question
Okay.
because my answers will shock you.
Okay. Oh, dear. I'll leave you and Beware alone.
Oh, I just want to be held by gigantic pink arms. It would break my spine in like 3 seconds.
Possibly. Or just suffocate you with its tugs. I was very excited to finally see Flareon in one of my run-throughs of the volcano area.
Mm-hmm.
One of the new editions. I'm like, They do a really good job of introducing the new characters, but I think having the nostalgia of all the old ones and making sure that they get the prominence that they deserve too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there will be some returning people. Most likely played Pokemon Snap as kids and now are parents introducing their children.
Yeah.
If the children are not already introduced to Pokemon, to the concept of Pokemon Snap. And
Yes.
I'm sure that if Player 3 was a little bit older, would be very excited to sit him to... Actually, no, I reckon he's old enough. I'm going to go get him, and we are going to go play new Pokemon Snap.
I think we will bring this particular game out for many years to come for replays. It is... Yeah.
And
a
he
great
will
game.
say, what, it only runs at 60 frames per second at 1080? Pfft, what is this? What is this garbage?
If he can say that as a toddler, then I'll be like, how do you know how to speak like that?
Well, he's a tech genius. He can operate
Naturally.
a button on his walker, which then says the same quote all day long. So he knows how to operate electronics.
He does actually have like a miniature controller and a miniature Game Boy-esque toy that he quite enjoys playing with both of those.
Unless you're holding a video game controller, in which case he wants that one.
Well, of course.
More appealing.
Anything that we're holding, he's like, that's mine now.
Mm.
That's just, I'm pretty sure that's how all kids function at that age. Has there been any moments in Pokemon Snap, the new Pokemon Snap, that you've like, oh no, I missed it, kind of?
Oh, every time on the run. Even on level 1 of the unlockables for each world. On level 1, you see something and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just line up this shot. And it takes you like 5-6 seconds to figure out, all right, can I get this thing turned around? Can I get this framing right? And in the meantime, you've missed 2 other things. So more incentive, of course, to go through the level. But then once you get to level 3, there are so many Pokemon. There is so much going on. I feel like I miss more things than I capture during those runs. And so you'll catch the, left butt cheek of a Slack-Off or a Slacking, whatever his name is. And that's all you get because you only noticed him at the last millisecond before he vanishes behind a cliff. And things like that. So, yes, always. Absolutely. Or a flying Pokemon in particular. You notice it just as it goes over your head and you just say, well, I'll remember that next time. And then when you're in the level next time, you've forgotten about it until it flies over your head and you go, I'll remember that next time. And it never sticks. Because there's always something in there, something new to distract me.
Yeah.
I didn't notice before.
It'll take, I think, several goes of the same course to really get everything kind of almost memorized because that's what we did as kids. Was we would replay the same level over and over to just get that one shot that we really needed. And thank goodness I've unlocked the turbo speed because I was really missing that early on. I'm like, I need to go faster. Come on. And sometimes you need that boost to get ahead of a Pokemon that never really turns towards you. So you've got to try to boost ahead of them in order to get the shot that you need. So it is in there, a lot of the original programming. One touch that I found quite nice is the home base area is itself an unlockable area.
I know. Just another level.
Yeah.
Another level. It's got our little friend Dedenne in there.
Mm-hmm.
I love that little electric mouse. And, yeah, I was actually quite surprised when that became a playable level.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more Pokemon in it than I expected. Because there's a Stoutland roaming around. There's an Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dedenne. But that's all there'll be. No. No, there's about another dozen more just in this little campsite that you've set up as your home base next to a lab.
And the further you go along it, the more progress that you make. You can start to do the course at different points. So whenever you go back to the menu screen, you might be at a different point of the camp. And so if you start from that point, you'll see different things. And the Pokemon will all be in different spots so you can get different angles, different activities that they're doing. So yeah, little touches like that are just, in my mind, brilliant.
Well, if you haven't guessed already, Jem is the resident expert of new Pokemon Snap in our household.
Mm-hmm.
I've unlocked 2 levels.
Well, you've also been very busy with a different game. Like a Dragon.
Yes. Yakuza, Like a Dragon, has finessed its way into my primary video game spot at the moment, and I seem to have more commitment issues, more time restrictions than ever before with my video gaming, and so apologies to Kingdom Hearts 3 that took me many years to even start, and now it's taking a back seat to another game that's technically a JRPG. So I've stayed within the same genre. Aren't I nice? But I have to say, before we get anywhere, I have to sing gaming goals just to get it off my chest, and I will do it in the form of karaoke. It's time for gaming goals. We're going to see what we've been playing in gaming goals. Beautiful.
Hey, hey,
Hey. Clap, clap, hey, clap, hey. Yep. Passionate support or casual support. They're your options when it comes to me doing karaoke.
Depends on the song that you've chosen.
Yes. So, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Big shoes to fill with this saga. It's one of my all-time favourite video game series, and they completely change the combat style. The protagonists couldn't be any different. You have big, stoic, manly, but very stoic, very serious Kazuma Kiryu in the original Yakuza games, all 7 of them. He gets up to madcap antics, but he's always got that stern facade on the outside. And then you have Ichiban Kasuga. What are your thoughts on Ichiban as a protagonist?
Definitely much more vivacious and loud compared to Kiryu. So, I mean, they're both solid protagonists in their own way, and I think Ichiban would be much more fun to hang out with as a mate. So he really suits the tone of Yakuza as far as I can actually see him realistically doing all the silly mini games.
Yep.
Whereas the other one kind of felt out of, and it worked in the sense it was a fun, fresh of breath air in a very serious game.
Fresh of breath air.
Breath of fresh air.
Uh-huh.
In a very serious game.
Yes. And that was part of the fish out of water fun of seeing Kiryu go bowling to win a chicken who can then be a manager of his real estate company. Yeah. Why not? That is Yakuza for you.
But, Ichiban, I can see, that to me doesn't seem like a stretch,
Technically, Ichiban now, in my game save, has made friends with Nancy, who is a crawfish, who I can call on the phone, and she will come help in combat. Along with a giant man in a baby outfit and Gary Buster Holmes, who has giant fists, and he's a buff man. But they're my pound mates. That's what they're called in the game.
Oh,
So
no.
Ichiban is awesome. And yes, you would want to catch up with him for a drink, but you'd probably be paying because you start off the game so darn poor.
Yeah.
And the dangerous thing is, right, in original Yakuza, you get knocked out. Whoopie-doo. It's going to happen at some point. Maybe it's game over. In this game, you simply lose half your money. Similar to Pokemon. But in Pokemon games, I never lose. So there's no danger. In this game, you enter a random encounter sort of thing with a group of enemies, but you don't know what level they are. You know the threat level of the area you're in, but they may be 5 levels weaker than you, or there may be one person who is 25 levels above you and will attack you with his bottom and knock you out in one shot. May have happened to me. So there's always that danger. If my characters are low on health or MP, because it is structured like a turn-based JRPG, because Kasuga has a wild imagination and visualizes the brawls he's getting into as similar to Dragon Quest. Mm-hmm. Isn't he cool? And he's got a heart of gold. Yep. Ichiban does. He really is Ichiban. He really is number one.
He's got I think it's pretty typical, but a very interesting but sad backstory.
Yep.
Which is, I think, par for the course as far as Yakuza games.
Mm-hmm. With enough of a hook to go, I want to see what happens next. Mm-hmm. Even when you're doing something else that's not related to the main story, it'll always work its way back because someone's pulling the strings in the background. We have a full English dub for the first time since Yakuza 1, which was atrocious and part of the reason why the series didn't take off in the West for many years afterwards.
Mark Hamill's probably the only good thing about that.
Yes, absolutely. But this voice cast, it's a lot of our old favourites, to be fair, from anime or other video games. Mm-hmm. But the main cast itself, they are really good. Really, really good. And they even did lip syncing on the models to the English voices as well.
Yes. I think that helps. It's kind of irritating on some Japanese games where they introduce an English voice, but they don't bother to tie in the lips. And I know it is a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
I get that. But it does break it a bit because no dubbing is ever going to be 100% perfect. So if you can make that effort for it to feel more organic, it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah, but I've had a great time, as I knew I would, with Yakuza Like a Dragon, and it was one of those games. We have some issues at the moment where we have too many games and not enough time to play games, and then there's always more games coming out that we want, and there's not enough time to play the games we've already got. So I've started to just go, screw it. You know what? I want to play Yakuza Like a Dragon today, so I'm starting it. And that is how I ended up on this wonderful trip of Like a Dragon. Because I just went, well, stuff it. I want to play it today, so I'm going to do it. Instead of going, no, I want to play it, but I'll play it in 3 weeks when I beat whatever I'm currently working on. And then I just never get past that hump, and then I don't enjoy games that I'm playing because I'm just like, well, I have to beat Kingdom Hearts 3 before I play Yakuza. I have to. So then I'm playing Kingdom Hearts with just no joy in my heart. Where's my Kingdom Heart? It's sad. That's where it was. So that is why I've been jumping all around. If you look at my past couple months on this podcast, I just keep flipping and flopping between what I'm playing. I don't think I've beaten a game. What's the last game I beat? I don't even know. It's been a while. But it also means that when something like Wreckfest, which is a Destruction Derby PS5 freebie for PS+, I'm like, you know what? I want to play that right now. And I install it and I play it for 20 minutes and I go, yes, okay, that was time well spent. And I had a feeling that Jem would have fun driving cars to utter destruction.
Yes.
So that was a plus.
It's not something I'll do in real life, but there is something to be said about just completely annihilating vehicles in a digital sense.
Yes.
I've always really enjoyed Burnout and smashing into other vehicles. Buses in particular were my favourite quarry. So playing a game like this, the controls are a little janky, but that might have just been like what they start off as. I don't know if it gets easier. We only really played it for a short while. But yeah, Definitely a good way if you need to maybe get some angst out.
I was concerned for your skeleton, though, because you were constantly reversing into other cars. And that's not how a seat and a seatbelt is designed to absorb most impact.
Well, I'd already destroyed the front of the car, so I needed more stuff to be able to hit the other cars with, so I could build up some pretty considerable speed in reverse. It was not realistic.
Yes.
But it was effective. I won.
Yep. And another example of our just, you know what, this looks entertaining. Let's start this up. We gave Rain on Your Parade a little spin last night.
Yes.
And tell you what, if you have the Xbox Game Pass and you have some friends over and you just want something to just keep you in a giggly mood, it's a winner in our book. And quite enjoyable, and you feel quite mean, but the fun kind of jerk mean, not the sad mean.
Yes. And some levels aren't necessarily about being mean.
Oh.
There are a couple of more puzzly type levels that require you to actually be nice. But overall, it's just kind of satisfying to literally rain on people's parade.
The introduction level is somebody's wedding.
Yeah.
And the bride is casually strutting down the aisle, and then you just dumping buckets of water on her head, and all the guests are running for their life while this temperamental, very joyous little storm cloud follows them around to literally rain on maybe not their parades, literally, but whatever festive occurrence is on.
Barbra Streisand's parade.
I know that from Glee. Hooray.
I can't believe you admitted that.
Oh no, what have I done?
Oh dear. It was a good time though. I think I've had... Even the credits were enjoyable.
Yeah, the first thing we did was go to the credits in that
Accidentally.
game. And we probably spent 10 minutes on those credits. Interactive credits. And
Yes.
we even found a couple of Easter eggs in there. Mm-hmm. And it was a time well spent.
I unlocked the Untitled Goose.
Untitled Bird. We don't want to get any copyright issues.
Little beak thingy that you can put on the cloud. So a nice little nod to House and Untitled Goose Game in there.
Speaking of cloud...
Oh, yeah.
It's been so long since we've had a podcast. Jem's forgotten that she started Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that.
You did.
Let's see, how far have I got? I got out of the main first initial mission, and I've been doing a lot of little side quests. Cloud has been paid, and they had that little group meeting and stuff, and... He's kind of in limbo at the moment, looking for more work and trying to build a rep as a merc.
Yeah, still pretty early, but
Yeah.
you were enjoying your time in the slums.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a drink at Seventh Heaven. Seems like a nice little establishment.
I've been playing on classic mode because it's very similar to other ones that I've played where they just initially go into combat and you're kind of telling them what magic and spells to use, what abilities, and letting them do their business, so to speak. That made it sound like their dog.
Bit of a strange... Make sure you clean up after your cloud.
That would be a fun name for a dog.
Oh, there's so many. So many.
Yes. So there's a few games, but yeah, Pokemon Snap has pretty much eclipsed most everything, for me anyway. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
Anything else?
Oh, what else have I been perusing? I was playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and barely made it to Planet Namek, so I didn't make much progress in that. Let me think. It's been difficult because Resident Evil 8 came out, or I should say Resident Evil Village. They want to emphasize it is not called Resident Evil 8. Then why did you call it Village and emphasize the Roman numeral of 8? Capcom? Don't make me angry. But it's one of those things. I said, I don't have time to play all these games, and there's so many good games at the moment. And I have so many options because of the amount of PS Plus freebies and all the Xbox Game Pass games I have. And I'm just thinking, all right, reviews for Resident Evil 8 are out now. Please don't be that good. I hope it's a dud so that I don't have to... Oh, no, it's getting 9 out of 10s. Oh, no.
You are secretly very happy that it's getting good reviews.
I'm very happy. I'll be honest. Resident Evil, one of my all-time favourite, like top 3, I think, of all-time favourite video game series. Mm-hmm. And I have so much history with that franchise through friends in different eras of the series. I have had different friends who really liked that style of game, and now there's a new one out, and I kind of want it, and my brain is trying to justify it to my wallet and saying, it's not like Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's not 60 hours long. It's 10. And maybe you'll get hooked on the little bonus arcade mode you unlock, but it's only 10 hours. You can play it in a week or 3 with your schedule. And so that's out at the moment. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get that because I've already got the pre-order as a gift from my good buddy the Falcon for my birthday, which was recently. Yes, I'm even older now and closer to death. But Subnautica Below Zero. Subnautica, one of my all-time favourite games that I've ever played. And this is the sequel. It's coming out on PS5. I've already got it pre-ordered on the PlayStation Store, so it will be pre-downloaded and ready to go, and it will probably sit there untouched on my PlayStation 5 for weeks because of my schedule and my gaming habits. So,
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side, and you could be featured in the next podcast.
So what are you looking forward to the most in the future?
Well, it doesn't matter what I'm looking forward to because I'll never get near our consoles once Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes out. Yes.
I'm not getting that right away.
Oh, no.
No, I'm going to wait for it to go down in sale. I keep telling myself I have the originals. I have them on both PlayStation and Xbox, and I can still enjoy them if I want to. If I get the itch, I can wait for it to be at a slightly more reasonable price for a remaster.
Okay.
So
well,
I
big talk.
have self-control.
Cool.
Yes.
Just thought as a side note, what happened to Persona 5 Strikers as well?
Oh,
Scramble, whatever it's called. I got it right this time.
Well,
I always
Scramble
call it
in
Scramble.
the Japanese.
Yeah, I got it right. But
I don't know why they changed it. But it's not like we don't know what the Scramble Crossing is.
Well, we might think it's to do with breakfast.
Delicious.
What am I looking forward to? Deathloop will come out eventually. Mm-hmm. It's been delayed multiple times, and it's one of those time loopy gameplay like Prey and Dishonored, but with the concept more of Hitman. That's a delicious little recipe. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, look, there's always going to be something new to look forward to with the video game industry. And there'll always be little surprises that come out of nowhere. I want to play It Takes Two, but I don't know who to play it with. And that was a game that I thought was not going to be as good as it was received. So even games that you discount and you say, no, I don't need to play that. Oh, it's amazing. Okay, I guess I'll play it one day. So, yes, I have plenty on my to-do list. I look at this. E3 is happening digitally, I believe, this year. Mm-hmm. But Sega are going to come to the party. And we've got a 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog around about now. So surely they've got something cooking in that arena. But there's so many things. What about yourself? Anything in the future that's catching your eye?
I don't know how far off in the future, probably more distant future, but there's the Hogwarts Legacy game.
Oh, yes.
Which still hasn't really got a release date last I checked, but they were being vague, kind of being like, oh yeah, we think 2021, but I have a feeling maybe 2022.
Probably.
Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh my goodness.
Is definitely up there. They've also teased that they're working on the new God of War, which anyone who's finished it knew that they'd left it open for a sequel. So
the next part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake experience will be around in the future too. We've got Ratchet and Clank launching in a month, and that's it. It used to be, I don't have money for all these games. Now I've got money, I just don't have time for these games. Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Maybe I quit my job.
No, then you won't have money for the games.
Just like 2004 all over again.
Except you're not living at your dad's.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me board with you.
Well, I think that brings us to our final point. Final
Oh, final.
announcement.
Sense of finality about that.
Yes. It's a bit bittersweet, but the Gaming Lovers podcast is coming to an end.
3 years ago, we started this podcast. We were in a very different place. We were just a couple of lovebirds, love doves, some would call us. And we loved games. We loved talking about games. And we thought, you know what? Why don't we just talk about games in front of a microphone so people can listen to us talk about games? And it was amazing. And I think now, how on earth did we do that weekly for like 2 years? I don't understand how we had time for it. Because I work full time. You work from home but do weird hours and stuff too. So you never know what is going to happen. And we still made it work with video gaming done as well. And as life has progressed, that's becoming a little more difficult. I've taken a new job position, which does demand more of my attention than my previous job position did. So I can't just bludge and play the Switch at work. I can't do it anymore, which means it cuts out a percentage of my potential gaming. And now we have player 3 along on our roster. Of course, we love him, but he eats into our video gaming
Yes, he
time
does.
too. And so when it comes to each night, we might have an hour and change of spare time. And most of that is spent going, maybe I'll just put on TV and fall asleep on the couch. Excellent. I'm exhausted. And we barely seem like we find time to even enjoy games now, let alone trying to find time to record, to edit, to upload a podcast, take care of social media business, which, to be fair, we never really did that well.
No.
But yeah, it is becoming difficult to manage everything in life and this podcast all at once. And so, for now, at the very least, it is TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
We've had so much fun. And honestly, you know, at the start of this podcast, I was just trying to get them to make a new Pokemon Snap, and I got what I wanted, so
She's out.
mission accomplished.
Got what she wanted from this relationship. Bye-bye. For me, personally, there has been no greater excuse to buy games on launch day all the time. I got to do it for the podcast. The people, you got to give the people what they want. They have to listen about my antics playing the first 20 minutes of a game before I get distracted by something else.
Until the next new shiny thing comes along. That has very much been the pattern of the last few years.
Yep.
But it has been a joy. It's been wonderful to team up with different people, have different challenges thrown at us, do different fundraising events, have people like Jamie and the good brother Steve and Lady Nat and Lady Melissa to come help out for different things, even have some of the younger kids join us and make us feel really old about games.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. They didn't appreciate retro gaming. Ungrateful.
Yeah. Our son needs to be, like, kept confined from modern technology and just given, like, the old stuff so that he appreciates
He will have a flip phone until he's in his 20s.
one that doesn't access to the internet. Thank you so much for joining us and for listening, and for those who have been really engaging and messaging in constant contact with us. We're so appreciative.
It still blows my mind as to how widespread this podcast had an audience. Like, internationally, in countries that I don't even know how to spell, were listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast.
Yeah. It's very cool, and we're very humbled by just the people that have wanted to come along this journey with us. You know, it was never done for self-promotion or anything like that, just an outlet for us.
Yeah. An excuse to play games
And gush.
because we love them.
That we do. And we love each
That's
other.
why and we're lovers. That's why we're the gaming lovers. It works in so many different ways.
Oh, see what we did
Oh my
there?
goodness. I never noticed.
So for the last time,
The last time.
sayonara.
No, I'll stick to the classic. Chowski.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.